Hello, this is Lady Boulay, and I hope you're having a lovely day. Thank you for your support. Thank you for subscribing to the channel. Thank you for your comments, and thank you for your thumbs up. Thank you for all you do to support the channel. And yes, we are commanded to love one another, whether we want to or not, or whether we agree with each other or not. Well, y'all, I'm going to reveal the ultimate court jester on social media. This is a guy that has Black American men on social media triggered. Ever so often, they make a video about him. And they don't seem to know quite how to deal with him because he is an immigrant who has come to the United States and done what immigrants do, leech on to racist white people. And it works. It works very well for a season. It doesn't work forever. But he's in his heyday now, leeching off of white people's agency and their privilege and their status as white Americans. He's a leech, in addition to being a court jester. A leech is a parasite. They live off the blood of other people, and he's living off the blood of white people now until he gets the wake-up call in the way that he needs to get it. And only white people can give him this wake-up call. Black people can't do it. We can talk about how he is and how racist he is, and we can do all of that kind of talk, but the real wake-up call has to come from white people. And this guy's going to get the wake-up call too. He just hasn't got it in the way that he needs to get it. He doesn't get it yet. But he goes around making disparaging comments about Black people, especially Black women, but he doesn't respect any Black people. And this is what makes him a court jester. Because what does a court jester do? Well, let me tell you. Court jesters served as entertainers, trusted advisors, and social commentators in royal courts, using humor to convey truths and critique the nobility. Court jesters are also known as fools. They were often depicted in colorful attire, complete with pointed hats and bells, and were responsible for entertaining royalty and their guests through various performances, including storytelling, music, juggling, and acrobatics. Unfortunately, this court jester doesn't have any of those skills. He does not do music. He's not a musician. I doubt if he knows how to juggle anything except a lie. And he's not, proficient in acrobatics as we know. But he does entertain the white supremacists. And in his mind, they are royal because we're told that these kind of people see white people as sort of like, deities, as gods, so to speak. And white people are the ruling class in America. So they would be considered the royalty, I guess, if you wanted to look at it that way. But that is what he does. He's entertaining white people. It's entertaining to white supremacists for somebody to get up and say the things about Black people that they don't want to say. Because there is a penalty for white people going too far with Black people. And they know that. They know there is a penalty. But for a person like this, for a court jester, he can get away with it because he doesn't have any agency in America. He might have American citizenship, but he might be an anchor baby or just an immigrant at the end of the day. He's just an immigrant. That's how we see him, and that's how they see him. But he gets more mileage and more money out of catering to them and leeching off of them, doing the things that they would like to do or that they would like to see done, things that they would like to be said about Black people, but they don't want to say it because, again, there is a price they pay when they go too far. And there's a recent example of that who I shall not name, but, there's a price that you pay. So this court jester is just carrying out the duties of a jester. He just doesn't have the real skills that the court jesters in the Renaissance era of Europe had. He has one skill, and that's to run his mouth and to be negative toward another group of people who hasn't done anything to him. And that is why when the wake up call comes, it's going to be so sweet. But for now, this jester infuriates black men, and for a good reason. He's making the rounds. I've seen him on different podcasts and things talking about black people, making fun of black people, calling black people all kinds of racial slurs and things. And black men just don't seem to know how to deal with him because they try to take him seriously, and he's not to be taken seriously. He is not to be taken seriously. The only way that he can get any kind of real attention is by doing what immigrants do: disparaging black Americans, distancing themselves from black Americans, calling black Americans names, and repeating the talking points of racist white people. There's no better way to put it than that. So that is what this guy does. But he is really just a court jester. Now, in my opinion, black men are doing the right thing by calling him out and making it clear, underscoring what he's doing. I think that that's the most important thing that black people who are upset with him can do. And this is mostly black men. Continue to underscore what he is doing, because that is going to be the best weapon when he gets this wake-up call. Now, white people are not going to give this guy the wake-up call for black people. So let's be clear about that. He's going to get the wake-up call because white people cannot stand a leech. They can't stand a leech. They leached off of our ancestors and got rich. So they can leech off of you, but you're not going to leech off of them. And another thing white people can't stand is somebody trying to pass for white and they're not white. And white people know he's not white, and he knows he's not white. I just heard him talking on a podcast with some white people, and the white people were making it clear you're not white, and the black people don't like you either. And then he went in on the racial slurs, talking about black people, and white people started laughing. But they made it clear to him in that statement that he was not one of them. And also, in that same vein, he cannot critique white people. An actual court jester was smart enough and nuanced enough that he could critique the king and the royal court without them even realizing that he was talking about them. And therein lies the limitation of this court jester. This court jester can only talk about black people because that's who white people want to be talked about. They don't feel threatened by anybody else. They feel threatened by black people for whatever reason. So he can only talk about black people. And that is where black American men have an advantage over him. Black American men can talk about anybody they want to. They can talk about Donald Trump. They can talk about the white supremacists. They can talk about white women. They can talk about gays. Black people can talk about anybody they want to. Because black men are American citizens. We're not immigrants, and we're not here leeching off of white people. We have our lane, and they have theirs. Black American men and women sit up on social media platforms all day, every day, talking about Donald Trump and calling him by name. But immigrants stick to the script. They talk about black people. So that's the advantage that black men have over this guy. Now, the court jester knows that. I don't know that black men consider that, but black men talk about Donald Trump all the time. This court jester can't say anything about Donald Trump or any other white person that they like. He really can't even say that much about white liberals. He can only talk about black people. And now it is time for me to reveal the ultimate court jester. It is none other than the dusty Sudanese immigrant, Myron Gaines. I don't seek out his content. I don't seek out anything to do with him. But black men whose platforms I support react to some of the things that he says. And they are infuriated and, again, don't know how to deal with him because you can't deal with a fool. You can't deal with the court jester. So he's a court jester. He's here for the purpose of entertaining white people because he doesn't just want to go off and be himself and just be a Sudanese immigrant who couldn't live in his own homeland. So he fled to the United States under the protection of the white man. So that's really all he will ever be. And in the fullness of time, he'll get the wake up call just like all the rest of them do. But in addition to him being a sucker for white people, I think one of the things about Black Americans that upsets him the most is that we're not intimidated by people like him. We don't look up to people like him. Where he's from in Sudan, and I believe he's Arab or a wannabe Arab. I'm told that the Arabs in Sudan look down on the Black Sudanese as slaves. And those people are intimidated by him in his homeland, but this is not his homeland. And we actually were enslaved, but we have transcended that. Black Americans are not intimidated by anybody. And I think he resents the fact, and like all the other immigrants to the United States, they resent the fact that we can't be deported or we're not going to be deported from the United States. And they can be. They can always switch it around where they can be deported, but they will have to change the Constitution to deport us. And also, we have agency here. We can stand up to anybody, including white people. He can't do that. And I think he resents that. So there is a resentment of Black Americans in all of that mockery and all that mocking that he tries to do. Underneath it all is a resentment and a jealousy because he will never have the status in America that Black Americans have. And I think that's problematic for people like him. But anyway, I'm waiting for the wake up call. Y'all let me know what you think about the video and have a good evening.